Tonight on Golf Central, he's 1 for 1 as world #1, but is DJ ready to put on the green jacket?
Plus, having fun with Phil Mickelson. After a weekend full of great saves, we look back at the most exciting escapes of his career.
And Justin Thomas doesn't only lead the PGA Tour in wins this season, but he's the leader in the clubhouse for most frustrating moments, especially what we saw in Mexico. Our favorite meltdowns, including a surprise entry from a member of our staff. That's all straight ahead on Golf Central.
Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
Dustin Johnson is now a 14-time winner on the PGA Tour after collecting his 4th WGC title Sunday in Mexico, and he did it in his very first start as world #1, only the 6th player in the history of the rankings to accomplish this great feat. With that, we say hello, Lisa Cornwell, George Savarikas. Great to have you with us tonight on Golf Central. I mentioned those 14 tour titles. DJ is only the 3rd player the last 30 seasons to reach that number by the age of 33. The other 2?
Name them.
Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods.
Pretty good company. And Lisa, he just keeps racking up win after win, and considering the shortest club in his bag, barely did any of the lifting down in Mexico, it was quite the performance. Here's DJ on his WGC Mexico Championship win in his own words.
I like World Golf Championships. Yeah, I mean, obviously this was a great week. I felt like even the first round was, I struggled a little bit on the greens, but, really hit the ball well. And I didn't feel like I was putting bad, but, and then obviously I played really well the last 3 rounds. Coming down the stretch, I made a great up and down on 15 out of the sand trap, just short left, and then a good 2-putt on 16. And then probably the best shot I hit all week, especially under the circumstances, was that second shot on 18. Was a fantastic shot, probably the best one I hit all week. 2016, I think, was my year. I was Player of the Year, so I think that works pretty well. But yeah, I mean, this year there's a lot of guys playing really well. Matsuyama's playing really well. Justin Thomas is playing really well. I mean, he's won 3 times already this year, so I got a little bit of catching up to do. But yeah, I mean, I feel like my game's in very good shape. Starting at the beginning of last year, it really has felt really solid, and it hasn't really let up any. I feel I got a lot of confidence in the game. I try to put myself in a position to win every golf tournament, whatever that means. But, each week I go out, I'm prepared to win, and I want to just give myself a chance to win, when I turn to the back 9 on Sunday.
Well, if he quit today, it would be quite the career for current world #1. 14 PGA Tour wins, 4 WGCs, 3 FedEx Cup playoff wins, that U.S. Open. He also has 3 Ryder Cup team appearances, 2 President's Cups. And remember, he's just 32 years old, Lisa.
Yeah, it's incredible. Let's bring in the boys to talk more about DJ, Trip Eisenhower, Tim Rosafort, Matt Adams. Trip, let's start with you. Look, he's really heating up. I mean, I think everybody would agree with that, Dustin Johnson. If you were him out there and all of the success keeps building and building and building, what would your goal be right now?
Keep doing what you're doing. The good news for DJ is he's always had this talent. And a couple of years ago, he started working on his wedge game. And you know what? I think the other good news is he saw immediate results from that. He had a multiple win season again on the PGA Tour, his 2nd multiple win season of his career, including a major championship, including a WGC event. So those kind of things are there. But when you ask anybody on tour who are the 3 or 4 of the most physically gifted players, DJ's on that short list because he is just so talented and can do so many different things with a golf ball his peers cannot do. Save for a Rory McIlroy or maybe a Jason Day or a Tiger at the height of his powers. It's impressive to watch. I spoke with a good friend who played with him at the Bears Club on Saturday, played with he and Rory McIlroy. And this guy has been around the game for a long time. And he said, you know what, I'm not usually impressed, but those 2 guys are head and shoulders talent-wise above everyone else. Rory might be a little more of a scoring-type golfer the way Jordan Spieth would be, but DJ just has the raw physical skills that even a Rory McIlroy is impressed by. It is impressive to watch DJ in full flight. And again, to win missing 16 putts inside of 10 feet. That's impressive stuff. That shows how well he's hitting the ball each and every week. And the other thing that I've been touching on is how much better we focus on the wedges, but how much better his chipping and pitching around the greens has been. It was great at Genesis. It was really solid. The chipping part of it was he just didn't convert some of the putts, but as he said, he wasn't putting that bad. He was just narrowly missing.
And he's smooth like Tim Rosafort.
Oh, yeah, so smooth. God. Anyway, the Harmon's
I throw you off?
Yeah, you did. Anyway, the Harmon's got him to hit the ball left to right. TaylorMade made him a putter, you know, that he's made some putts with. But really, you go back to Tripp talking about the short game. It was him reaching out and actually buying a TrackMan at last year's Genesis Open at Riviera. After winning a Pro-Am, instead of going into lunch, because he always says he's so hungry to get some lunch, he peeled off on a rainy day, went down to the driving range. That was the first time he really worked with it. Told his manager to go buy him one. He took him a while to figure it out, but once he did, obviously he started dialing in the numbers, and the results speak for themselves. You know, great driver of the ball, Matt, but you had to capitalize on it. And once he got that TrackMan in front of him and started figuring things out, the field from certain yards, well, the numbers speak for themselves. 19 feet with his proximity to hole from 50 to 125. Pre-TrackMan, 16.4 post-TrackMan in the last year and 2 tournaments. Now, 2.8 feet 2 yards, 8 feet doesn't seem like much, but when you're talking about a wedge getting it closer to hole, he's now 14% closer, and the chances are bigger.
A lot was made about his putting this past weekend. The talk about him missing, 16 putts from inside of 10 feet, 74th in the field of 76 players on that mark. At the Genesis Open, though, he was 62 of 67 from the same distance, so it shows you that the way that putting can kind of flow and ebb, it isn't anything to really panic about, and the fact that he was #1 in the field outside of 10 feet, which I think needs to be noted as well. I think a little too much panic was put into the putting side, even though he has the wedges more dialed in. He's also second currently as well on the PGA Tour from 175 to 200. So he's firing on his game. I'm not really worried about the putting. He's still won. He has all these other tools that he can use when he needs to.
Yeah, and while Dustin Johnson was the biggest story of the week, how about the number of hole-outs that we saw on this golf course? I mean, everybody loves to see it. It's so much fun. Let's take a look at, well, some of our favorites that happened. Tripp, kick us off here.
Yeah, well, absolutely. There were 77 players that started the tournament, and there were 77 hole-outs. Now, did every player, well, Henrik Stenson, of course, did not end up playing, so there were 76 players. Did every player have a hole-out? It seemed like it. We were seeing them time and time again. I love this one from Rory. We didn't see any rust from Rory at all. A really respectable first start since the rib injury.
Do you think it's possible that because of the altitude at 7,600 feet that they were hitting a lot more higher lofted clubs so they could zero in on the hole? That's why we're seeing more hole outs?
Yeah, well, without question. It's a shorter golf course. It was 7,300 yards, but effectively playing about 6,400. It was tight and tree line. If you strayed from the fairway, you definitely paid. But, you know, people were worried, Tim, about this being a total shootout and people shooting 25 under. Well, 14 under is a very respectable number. So this golf course held up for the first time that's held an event in quite a long time.
And the crowds obviously loved it. And I compare it to the 10 years that there was a WGC down at Doral, much more of a corporate crowd. They did a smart thing. They let kids in under 16. McIlroy noted how big that was. Phil Mickelson used the words cool, terrific, supportive, flattering, nice to describe the spectators. And I think the best words came from Roberto Diaz, the lone Mexican in the field, in there on an exemption, talking about what an inspiration it was for his country to have the best golfers in the world there. It was huge for Mexico, for golf, what they're trying to do down there, build a first tee chapter in every one of the states in the country of Mexico. And this was a great step in the right direction. And you know what I love too? No, I didn't hear one "Utah man" or, you know, in the hole. It was, you know, it was a lot of Spanish speaking, but it was obviously from the heart and enthused.
And this was the highlight, I think, of all the hole outs that we've seen. And I think this is why we saved the best for last. Justin Thomas, 3-time winner this season on the PGA Tour, and now a hole-in-one on his resume.
Not even a Utah man there? Come on. No, Rosie? Nope, not one? Okay.
No.
We'll get that
Banning you, the man.
There you go. Okay. Well done. Despite the small field in Mexico City, this golf club yielded 77 hole outs from off the green this week, the most of any course this season on the PGA Tour. The previous season high was 69 at Riviera. Another win there by Dustin Johnson. Jordan Spieth had the most hole outs of anybody in the field with 4.
I'm with you, Rosie. And we're just getting going tonight. A club toss from JT or some total destruction with Henrik. Just some of our favorite meltdowns we've seen, and we've seen him hit some of the best recovery shots from unthinkable spots, some vintage Phil Mickelson in Mexico over this weekend. Plus, it's one of the biggest undercover sting operations in U.S. history. It all came together at a golf course. The story later on Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by Titleist, the #1 ball at the WGC Mexico Championship. Shipsticks, the largest golf bag shipping company in the world, simplifying the way you travel.